What is up, guys? Not the winner here, and really just here to talk to you guys about Digimon Survive. Now, this game I was very interested by. I love Digimon. I've always been a huge fan of Digimon, and this is one of those things where you wonder to yourself, are they going to do it in a new way? Are they going to do something interesting? And this is very interestingly done. It's a bit of a visual novel. You end up going through this journey. You do a lot of conversations. You do a lot of interesting things. Not much so far has been action based, such as combat. A lot of it has been conversationally based, and I expect most of the game to be that way. And the combat is tactics, so that's not everyone's interest, but I love tactical games. I'll say this though, I was able to pick out every single one of the OG characters out of the new character list immediately. Like, Joe is Joe, Izzy is Izzy. Now, they all have different names and slightly different looks. Personality traits seem very, very similar to the OG characters. The way that they interact is very similar to OG characters. And, a slight spoiler here. Your main character, and it's on the cover, so not much of a spoiler, uses Agumon. And he has glasses on his head, like TK. so, so definitely feels like OG Digimon. Excuse me. One of the main characters feels very much like Sora. You got Izzy, you got Joe, you got Mimi. Like, literally the entire cast. Is even the character who's a bit like Matt. And he's got a little sister, which makes me think about TK. Now, she might not be like TK, but it just made me think of her, think of him. And then you got this really, really scared kid who reminds me of that Digimaster kid from the second season who would always wear like this purple cape and had like the the green one next to him, not Kunmon, but the other one. And he actually gets Kunmon. So all the characters are there. It's definitely like OG Digimon in the sense of, if you want the feel of the OG characters, but told from a totally different story of different names. It's very, very visually appealing and very interesting. I would definitely say the $60 price tag for the type of style of game it is might not be for everyone. I'm very happy with it so far, and there is a point in the game where you do have a free battle method where you can obtain other Digimon and level up all your Digimon without progressing the story. So you do have options if you just enjoy the combat aspect of certain parts of this game, to get to a point where you can actually obtain some additional stuff. Now, guys, this isn't really a review of whether you should buy or whether you shouldn't. I could go into 1,000 extra details on whether you should or should not buy. This is more of just what kind of game is it and how much they took from the original characters. And I am telling you, every single one of the characters, if you watched OG Digimon, you're going to point to them and be like, okay. And I said TK earlier, I meant Tai when I was talking about main characters. Just everyone with their goggles. But yeah, immediately thought of Tai. I definitely will say all the characters give you the original feels. So if you're looking for those OG feels, that's definitely what you look for. And you know what? Let's turn this into a should you pick this game up. First of all, if you don't like a lot of text on your screen, you're gonna see a lot of text on your screen. If you don't like your decisions making things change in how your characters interact with you and how everything else goes down, you're not really going to enjoy this game. That is probably 90% of the game. If you love all the Digimon and you're just here to collect Digimon, I would say there's probably other games that might be good for that. This one does have a good system for you to unlock Digimon, and if you enjoy tactics games, then you'll love the fact that it's Digimon Tactics. Now, as I haven't gotten insanely far into the game, but as far as the combat system goes, there's games like Disgaea where you can kind of chain your attacks in a certain way, and you can choose when you're going to execute commands for some people and not everyone, and then you kind of end your turn as a whole. In this game, however, each Digimon has its turn, and I wasn't you know, it was pretty early, and I was messing around, and I probably just didn't do it right. But I was basically kind of forced to use the first Digimon in line, and I'm sure there's ways to swap. But overall, it's that Digimon goes, it attacks, and it ends turn. Then you swap to another Digimon, it moves, it attacks, then it ends turn. And if you don't move or attack, and you just click end turn, then you get a shield. And I believe you still get shields if you just use an item, which is half damage. So it's an interesting combat system, and it seems like it's one at a time. And if you line people up side by side, then they can boost you up and give you bonuses to your attack. They can heal you up and give you bonus SP. There's one where I think they can attack with you. So there is ways to utilize your team members even after they've already ended their turn. Just stand next to them and do an attack, and they'll assist you in some sort of way, which is a very useful mechanic. And then there's also a benefit mechanic where if you can speak with your foes to cause certain things to happen, such as try and get items if they agree with you and stuff like that. And then there's also speaking with your own allies, and each ally gives you a different like effect. Like one might raise all of your stats, and each of the others will do something else. So speaking with your allies, you can use that to boost your entire, well, I believe it just boosts that one Digimon, not the entire team. But to boost a specific Digimon in a very crucial situation that will determine whether you can win a fight or not. So it's a very interesting mechanic. I think it's a little bit more basic than a game like Disgaea, but this game's not meant for your stats to get into the millions. This is more of like an experience. So if you're looking for an experience that's not combat focused, this might be the game for you. And if you're a huge fan of Digimon, you're probably going to enjoy this. I was ecstatic each time I was seeing the Digimon. I was calling them out. I was like, oh, you know, like it's so cool when you see each of the Digimon if you're a Digimon fan. If you're not a Digimon fan, I don't know how much you're going to like this game. If it's just that you like tactics, I might say that there's other better tactics-based games, but this one would be interesting to add to the repertoire if you haven't picked it up before. If you are one of those people who is very visual novel based and loves those games like Persona where your decisions affect different things, or games like Star Wars, The Old Republic, where when you make a decision, or Knights of the Old Republic, even classics, where when you make a decision it alters different things and you get like different points for things, right? Then this is going to be a very positive experience if you want a new game in your repertoire and just something that's fresh because you played them all, or just want something new. Definitely a good choice. And if $60 isn't breaking your bank, I would definitely say go ahead and give it a try if you're into that kind of stuff. If you're not into that kind of stuff and you're like, should I pick this up? And you don't know, and like you only have $60 and you can only pick up one game out of two, pick up the one that's going to suit more of your interests. This is definitely one of those like ones that I would consider a banger, but I would say 90% of people would be like, oh, this isn't this isn't what I thought it was gonna be. But overall consensus, would I say pick this up? Yes, but only if you're into either tactics-based games or visual novel-esque games, and it's more on the visual novel side than the tactics side. Otherwise, that's kind of all I got for you guys. This is just like OG Digimon to me. All the characters are exactly the same. It's a joy to get to have them relive their scenarios in an absolutely different way. If you guys did enjoy this video, or if you guys want to see Digimon Survive content, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell to be notified about all new content, and let me know what you might have questions on in this game, because I plan on kind of hitting every nook and cranny in the game, so if you do have questions, I'd love to get those covered. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys down the line.